biostatistics. Now, the first thing we have to understand is the definition for biostatistics. If we say biostatistics, what are we talking about? Biostatistics. Now, if you can see, this word contains two parts. There is the bio part, and then there is the statistics part. Now, statistics itself, the second part here, this is a science, okay, of, please take note of the many terms. The science of number one, planning. So we're going to plan different studies so that you can carry them out. So planning studies. And then after you get to planning these studies, it can also be experiments. So planning studies or experiments. And then after you've done that, you've planned your study, you use that study to obtain data. Once you obtain that data, you now get to organize that data because you're trying to make meaning from what you've gotten. When you organize the data, it's not everything that you are going to use. So you try to summarize that data. And then after you summarize it, you are going to present that data. Okay. After presenting, there's going to be analyzing of that data and also interpreting it. And after you interpret it, you now make an inference or making conclusion from the data that you've gotten that you can now be able to use on a larger scale, okay, based on that data. So statistics is not only in mathematics, it is in different fields. And in this case, since this is biostatistics, we'll be talking about, bio means life. So we are talking about the life science. And then we're going to be using statistics to be able to plan studies, obtain data, organize it, summarize it, present it, analyze it, interpret it, and then make conclusion out of it. Okay. So we need to know who is a statistician, because before we start talking about a biostatistician, we need to first know someone that is just general. So a statistician is a person that is going to use mathematical techniques to be able to summarize data in a way that can be used to answer or attempt to answer a scientific question. Please take note of that. It's as easy as that, but you can find a multiple choice question. So who is a statistician? This is a person that has done statistics, that uses mathematical mathematical techniques. So if we say mathematical techniques, what does this include? It includes, for example, things like simple or complex mathematics for you to be able to summarize. But in so when you summarize the data, now you are summarizing it in such a way that you can use it to answer a scientific question. But in case you can't answer a scientific question, at least attempt to answer a scientific question. So uses mathematical techniques to summarize data in order to answer or attempt to answer a scientific question. Okay, so basically that. So that is biostatistics. Please, it's important for you to understand that at the end of you collecting data, you have to be able to answer a question. Now, these questions that we are talking about that we are going to be answering at the end, we have got different types of scientific questions, or scientific questions differ in nature. So I've got three many types of scientific question. Okay, scientific questions. So we are saying they differ in nature. The main types of these scientific questions that we'll be talking about, the first one, some scientific questions are descriptive in nature. Descriptive questions. For example, let's say you took blood pressures of people and then you want now to understand the meaning. So you might say, what is the, let's say, the mean diastolic pressure between 20 and 45 years? After you take the pressure, the BP, for people in Zambia, let's say between 20 years and 45 years. And now you are asking, what is the mean of everyone? Okay, so that is going to be a descriptive question. You are going to be able to describe. Okay, and please, it is important to understand in a descriptive question, you are specifying the population that you are trying to deal with. So look at this question: what is the mean BP? You don't just end there. Mean BP for who? Okay, so you say, let's say, mean BP for men. And then men are also a lot. Which men are you referring to? So let's say for men between 20 to 40 years or to 45 years. Again, if you say for men between 20 to 45 years, which men are you talking about? In which location? Are they in Zambia? Are they in America? Where? Because when you're doing a study is going to be concerned with a place. Let's say in Zambia. So you are specifying. That is a descriptive question. At least it's going to tell you a lot. It is telling you, number one, what you're trying to describe, and then in who are you trying to describe, and then also restricting the area in of the study. Second type of question that you are trying, scientific question, and nature of a scientific question is a question of effect estimation. Okay, effect estimation. Now, effect estimation, you are trying to see, there are some exposures that a person can be exposed to, and because of that exposure, they end up having something. So we're trying to see the effect, we're trying to estimate the effect after being exposed to the risk factor. For example, what is the effect of consumption of alcohol on blood pressure? Okay, what is the effect of alcohol consumption on, say, BP? And then that is an effect